I don't need no one to say you're complicated, 'cause I knew from the start this might be overrated. It's so typical, you wanna give it one more try, even though if your mind is telling you it's all a lie. Oh, I gotta wake up, this might be a breakup, 'cause I don't believe you when you say that you miss me. 'Cause where are your actions to prove me you're different? When I say I need you and you head the direction that's leading away from me, baby. I don't believe you, no, 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 I don't believe you, no. One thing I love about you is your dedication. It got me dreaming at the station. On my way home, oh, I gotta wake up, this might be a breakup, 'cause I don't believe you when you say that you miss me. 'Cause where are your actions to prove me you're different? When I say I need you and you head the direction that's leading away from me, baby.
All right. So hopefully everyone else trickles back in. I know we lost some people when we did that. That feed switch. So if we did lose you, I'm sorry about that. You can always, obviously, if you're hearing this, you're here. You can always watch it in replay, and you can come back and do it again at the end. if you go to that YouTube page, you'll always find it. It'll say live at the top of the YouTube page. Just go to my channel. All right, guys, so we have about 4 minutes and we're going to get started. We have cyclocross riding for some of our endurance stuff, and then we're going to do some track riding for some of our intensity stuff, and we're going to flip those back and forth. Oh, good to see you, Greg. Yeah, it was, I just had to turn off the software and turn it back on, but unfortunately, that closes the session. It kind of stops the stream instead of pausing it. I wish I could just pause it, so maybe that's something I need some technical help on. All right, guys. 3 minutes, 4 minutes to game time.
Thinking that I could have done something, but now I'm
all right, guys, so I meant to mention we want to get some distance sensors on our bike. So you want to have some way to measure distance. It doesn't matter if it's realistic to the real world. Sometimes on rollers, you know, it says we're going 40 miles an hour, but that's because there's no wind resistance and the roller is a little bit lighter. But we want a distance sensor on the bike today, whether you're connected to Zwift or it's on your wheel, your back wheel, and it's just measuring how many revolutions it does. Let's measure some distance today. We're going to do that in a couple different intervals. We have 4 intervals. 4 intervals, we're going to figure out how far we go each time, and we're going to add them all up at the end and get a score for the final TT. So you're going to have 4 different sections, like a broken TT. We add them all up the same way that you would in a GC race, you know, your overall time in the race. So we're going to add all those up for a TT score at the end. This is the fun ride to do because you can always go back and redo it and see if you get better scores on the TT, the cumulative TT. All right. 2 minutes to game time. I feel bad because we lost a bunch of people from the old feed. So just a reminder for everyone that's on here, you can always go back and re-watch these, and I recommend that. There are going to be some times that, let's say I'm out of town or I don't necessarily plan on having good Wi-Fi, I might replay an old one or I might record one and play it. You can always go back and do this recording, and this one specifically is a benchmark ride. So it's going to be one of those ones that you want to do in 6 weeks, 8 weeks when you finish the training phase and see if you can get a little bit better on those TTs. Since you left me here, so come home. Why won't you reappear? Things that I 1 minute to go. Shameless plug. We're starting up a for fun road group right now, or it's for fun right now. There's no real race team component to it because there's no racing, but local racing team kits are available, and we have a special sunglasses model with Roca and a team discount code. So some really cool stuff. I think it looks sharp. My favorite color, blue, in all different shades. So if you want to get in on that, you don't necessarily have to be from California, even though it is a locale. All right, that's open to everyone on this feed right now. Not to everyone in the world, but to anyone on this feed right now, you guys can jump in on the local team. All right, here we go. Nice and easy. Three minutes easy. All right, we got a little bit of cyclocross right now. I don't remember what I'm pretty sure I told Pat that we were doing a course in Spain. So I think this might be the course in Spain. It's a UCI course, so we'll Anyway, we're pedaling easily, any RPM you want. Somewhere between 80 and 100. Nice and easy. 3 minutes.
Can't forgive myself for losing you. For losing you. Only thought that we were foolish. Now
So today, if you didn't hear that announcement, we're splicing together some cyclocross footage with some velodrome footage. So the velodrome footage, is it Burnaby? No, it's Forest City. So we're gonna use some Forest City velodrome today, which is a small track. Smaller the track, the steeper it is, just like Detroit. Well, not always the steeper it is, but generally, if it's built like a correct velodrome, the smaller it is, the steeper it is. So we're going to splice together some cyclocross stuff for our endurance tempo efforts, that simmering burn. And then for some of our high intensity stuff, for all of the high intensity stuff, we're going to go into the velodrome. It would be ideal if you had distance displayed on your bike so that you can see how far you go each time we hit that velodrome. We're going to have a shot clock, up in the corner like we do now. We're going to see how far we can go in the time allotted while you race the velodrome. And we're going to try and add up all of those velodrome miles together, and we're going to see how far we can go in our 4 different velodrome time trials. All right, guys, we have 3 minutes tempo. So tempo for us is going to be sweaty. You're breathing deeply. It burns just a little bit, but you're not dying. You're not gasping for breath. It burns, but it's sustainable. Like when you're at the front of the group in a group ride, you want to give them a nice pull, but you don't want to shatter yourself for the whole ride. That's kind of how tempo feels. I take that back. A lot of people get to the front and they just start hammering inappropriately hard. The way it should feel when you're at the front of the group is a good tempo effort. Something like 75% FTP, 80% FTP, something in that range.
Sin ti estoy tan solo, no es fácil. Te quiero, baby, hasta que nazca el sol, hasta que nazca el sol. Dame tu amor, dame tu amor, dame tu amor, tu amor, tu amor, dame tu amor, dame tu amor.
All right, guys, so we're finishing up this tempo section. It's going to go into 3 minutes spicy, and spicy is whatever you have in those legs that burns a little bit. Well, burns a lot of it. Anything that you have in these legs that feels uncomfortable, it's a little bit hotter than you want it to be, it's a little bit harder than you want it to be. We're probably looking at 105% FTP, 100 to 105, so spicy. I recommend not necessarily staring at the Garmin or looking at your power. Just make it feel spicy. That's why I use the word spicy and not FTP or super FTP. Let's just make it feel uncomfortable, a little bit spicy. Ooh, going through the sand, that is hard. Very rarely have I made it through a sand pit on a cross bike.
You know that
Yeah, so let's just make it a little bit spicy for 3 minutes. It's based off of feel. So if halfway through you think you can go a little harder, do that. If halfway through you think you went too hard, bring it back. That's fine. Here we go, 3 minutes spicy. There's this area that's really very picturesque for us to ride in out in this kind of South LA, North Orange County region called Palos Verdes. It's a very, very nice area to ride it. You know, like a lot of scenery. You're on the cliffs. There's ocean. But to get there from where I live, you have to go through the LA port and the big shipping center. So it reminded me of riding through the sand in cyclocross. I hit a couple of those like road sand, which is a collection of, you know, truck stuff, sand, dirt, glass. And I must have done a 10-foot slide, somehow kept it on 2 wheels, like a dirt bike, just skidding around a flat track. It's exhilarating if there's no cars around. Alright guys, so we're finishing up this spicy section. We want to be breathing deeply. If you can breathe with your mouth closed, let's say it's a little bit too easy. You should feel like you want your mouth open so you can bring in some more air. That's the type of effort we're looking for here. It's not a full sprint, but we're going. A lot of spectators for this UCI race. For a cross race. Most cross races that I have done personally, there are more racers than spectators, and the spectators are just people that race the different category. Alright guys, so for this warm-up, I actually edited in somewhere in the middle of this race for the warm-up so that we can start our sprint at the whole shot. It's not, you can see these lanes, it's a pretty standard width for a cyclocross lane. They're not super, you guys can take a rest right now. They're not super narrow, but it's narrow enough that when everybody's trying to fight for that front position, right off the line, it can get really crowded and you can get stuck behind riders and you end up having to go slow based on the terrain and the people in front of you, not because you're tired. So that's why it's called the hole shot, is because you're always trying to make it, you know, make it through the hole to get right up to the front of this race. So we're gonna start our first sprint on the hole shot. How quickly can you clip in? We're gonna do this one standing. Usually we do our first sprint seated, but today we're gonna do them both standing. So your first one's going to be standing in a little bit of a bigger gear. So let's make it a little bit bigger so it takes you 2 or 3 pedal revolutions to really muscle it up. Get ready for that first sprint. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Here we go. Sprint, 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 sprint. Go for it. Good. Really trying to make it up into the front of that pack. And take a breath. 1 minute to catch your breath. Alright. Obviously, the riders on the screen are still sprinting. You're going to take a breath. And we're going to do a second sprint. Second sprint, you're going to do something different. You can do this one seated, or you can do it standing, but in a different gear. We want to hit a higher RPM.
So I won't speak right now, 'cause words will tear us apart.
Oftentimes we think big gear means more powerful sprint, but a lot of times big is torque or strength, and smaller is powerful, because power has to do with how long it takes and time. And so with a smaller gear, you actually get a faster time on the cadence, like a faster RPM. So let's get right into our power range. We want to be snappy, we want to be small, we want to be fast in 3, 2, 1, and sprint. Sprint, 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 sprint. Set those power numbers on fire. Come on, all the way. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Take a breath. All right, 2 minutes rest. When we come back, we're actually going to continue on with our cyclocross race. So our first set is going to be 2, 4, 6, 8 minutes. We're going to do 8 minutes. We're always going to do 8 minutes of cyclocross, and then we'll have a TT on the velodrome. So our 8 minutes of cyclocross is going to go 2 minutes at 85 RPMs. We're going to make that feel like endurance, tempo, 6.5, 7 out of 10. Then we're going to keep that gear where it is as we do 2 minutes at 90 RPMs, and then 2 minutes at 95 RPMs, and then we'll come back down and do 2 minutes a little bit easier again. So 85 at tempo. Keep that gear as we go up to 90, and then we go up to 95, and then we'll bring it back down for a final 2 minutes. So that's 8 minutes. So we're going to do that endurance cycle, that 8-minute cycle. That's going to happen every time we finish the velodrome. You'll notice this race is in order, so every time we cut back to this velodrome, every time we cut back to this cyclocross, it's going to pick up where it left off. So notice how many riders there are here now, and think back to that warm-up where there was nobody. Cyclocross races traditionally just blow apart. Especially, you would think it would blow apart in the lower ranks, but especially in the higher ranks where you get people with just incredible technical skills. The lead group and the lead couple people you'll never see them again, and everyone else just starts getting spaced out because the technical skills are pretty disparate. People train all the time for these, but that's the exciting part of mountain bike and cyclocross, is that it's kind of unpredictable, the conditions of the day. So 85 RPMs, listen to the beat, or take a look at your cadence sensor. The beat, the music, and the cadence should both be 85 RPM or BPM. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Go, 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 go. 85 RPMs, dial in your gears so that it feels like tempo. It feels like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. Endurance, but a nice strong endurance. If you're at this pace and you think, wow, this is really gonna wear me down, maybe you're going a little bit too hard right now. So, strong endurance, light tempo, light burn, maybe almost burning, not quite, but almost. You have 1 more minute here.
With you by my side, I'm not worried. I think we'll be able to find ourselves again. Blank expressions, empty words. Nothing can keep me away from you.